Good morning. Today we're going to go over the fruit of the Spirit. Now what happened is I created this video back in 2018 and I did not put it up because I overheard myself and I saw how slow I was explaining it and I was very nervous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record it. So as you can see now I'm a little bit more, I don't know if I should say bold or more comfortable because I have learned so much in this 1 year since the day that I did this. I even got frustrated reading this devotion, this short devotion. It was the first one I was going to put up. It's on Thursday, March 8, 2018. And I was looking for some of my studies that I have hidden. And lo and behold, I found this. So I thank you for choosing to listen in. If you're not able to stay and listen in the first time, if you can save this to watch later, I know that there's a lot, but share it with your friends, your families. It's important to know the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit. Why is it important? Because that's what we are to manifest as a Christian, or so we say that we're Christians. Yet we don't have the complete manifestation. The fruit of the Spirit is actually Christ inside of you. That's basically what it is. He says, I will walk in you. I will give you a new heart. Everything that's perfect comes from and is from above and comes from Jesus. So if there's any beauty and love that is from each other, well, we're our brother's keeper, so it comes from him. I'm going to get started. And what are the fruits of the Spirit? In Galatians 15:13-25, it says, For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. So Jesus has called you. He says, hey, you, and then put your name in the blank. Come over here. You're free now. You're not in the bondage of this world. And you're not even under at first you start wanting to keep the law and share the law. But you're not even under the law, but you're under grace. So what are you going to use this liberty for? Now that I have delivered you, you cried unto me. You say, Lord, deliver me. You're going through suffering and pain. And so those who are yearning for him, he comes to you and he originally plucks you out of the fire. And he says, you have been called blank, put your name, insert name here, into liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, as yourself. Hold on one second. It does not mean not to rebuke. Let me see if I can, this is why I got frustrated last time. There it is. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm not going to edit this, so mind you the little implications that I say in between, trying not to interrupt myself, but I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it. Okay, for all the law is fulfilled in this one word, even this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So you either do one or the other. If you walk in the Spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of your flesh because you're not walking in the flesh, you're walking in the Spirit. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law. Because, why would you not be under the law? Because you're walking in the Spirit. You're not under the Spirit. It doesn't control you. It's inside of you. So it's not something you have to do. It's something that you want to do. You become one with the actual word. Okay, so now, if I'm going too fast, I'm gonna repeat this and read it through. For the flesh, this is 17. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. But if you be led by the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: idolatry, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, which I can never say right, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envies, drunkens, murderings, revelings, and such like. Of this, okay, all these things that were mentioned, hold on, all of this, hold on, yes, let me bold it, all of that, of that which I tell you before. That means it was told to them before. That means even us, we were told that these things are wrong. Where? In our hearts. It's supposed to be written in our hearts, right? I have told you before, okay? Let me bold it out. As I have also told you in time past. In time past. This means that there was a repetition because it's a warning. If it's being constantly told to us, that means there's something that we're not getting, right? That they which do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, and temperance. Against there is no law. So there's no law against it. So you're not under it because, here we go. I'm going to go like that. Because there's so many different, and then I'll control bold and against. Let me change this color to blue and bold. Oops. Here we go. Bold. Okay. Against all of these things, there is no law. These are the fruit of the Spirit. Here. I'm going to highlight the fruit of the Spirit. I hope this is not confusing to you. I'm doing this as we speak, so it's almost like you're highlighting the piece of paper with me. The fruit of the Spirit and the works of the flesh. Let me bold this. Control bold. And these are the works of the flesh. There we go. Okay. The works of the flesh. And I have to pause this now. Now, as we were saying, adultery, I had to come back. I had to shut this off and come back real quick because unfortunately I had a situation walk through the door because that's what happens when I'm doing Bible studies. And I have to really understand the fruit of the Spirit. Just like it says over here, I have to learn patience. Well, there's temperance, because it doesn't say patience. So maybe I do have the fruits of the Spirit, because I know there's no time to joke here, because this is very interesting. The works of the flesh are manifested in all of these, right? And those are the works of the flesh. That's the manifestation of the works of the flesh. Okay. And I put bold, and I'll just put underline. The works of the flesh are these. The fruit of the Spirit are these, and against there is no law. There's a law against all of these, but there's not a law. And then it says, and they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections of the lust. Affections meaning passions. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, or envying one another. Now, after reading Galatians 5:13 through 26, we're going to break it down. We have a clear indication of the two spirits, right? We have the fruit that brings forth life, and then we have the works that bring forth death, right? We have verses 22 and 23, which describe the fruit. Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Many think that fruits are people. Some of us, people say, oh, look at the fruits, and then they followers. And if we don't have people, followers, which are followers, okay, subscribers, that we think that, oh, wow, that means we go by that, or an audience, we are not bearing fruit. That's what people think. Yet, first of all, Christ only had 12 disciples, and no one listened to John the Baptist, you know, and he did not have followers. He had people that he spoke with, but he still went in and was beheaded. Noah, Jeremiah, or even Paul, or Jesus to his crucifixion, his followers departed. The followers is not an indication of a disciple or someone with fruits of the Spirit. Jesus and those of us who can truly see him, when others refuse because they're due to blindness. In verse 24, however, it indicates the condition. That's verse 22 and 23. In 24, it concludes. It gives a condition. It indicates the condition of how they come to attain the Spirit. So we have the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, but how do I come to attain the Spirit? So we have all these beautiful things: kindness, long-suffering, gentleness. How do I get that without being pretentious, making it not, be our works? Okay? There's an indication, and the answer is in verse 24. I'm going to read what I wrote here. It indicates the condition of how they come to attain the Spirit, making it a true spirit, not pretending to be meek or having goodness of themselves. It explains they have crucified the flesh. So how do you attain these wonderful spirit? The wonderful Spirit of God, the manifestation of the Spirit, which are fruit. The fruit is the manifestation of the Spirit. Well, they crucified the flesh and affections of lust, the passions. 25 shares the life in the Spirit is actually walking in it. It tells you that the manifestation of the Spirit is to walk in it, meaning that the actions is manifested in their walks. Basically, actions are louder than words. It is manifested in verse 25. It says you will walk in it. You will not be a hypocrite of what you say. So we have all heard the term, actions speak louder than words. Now, earlier in verse 13, the Bible says, and that's where it started, it explains with liberty. We have liberty. We can actually do whatever we feel. Yes, you heard me. We can do whatever we want, whether it's right or wrong. But it's giving a suggestion, because we asked God, he called us into liberty. It says, I have called you into liberty. You were like, get me out of here. But sometimes we use that liberty to the occasion of the flesh, because now that we're free, we can do whatever we want, and we go back into sin. We may not be doing the same sin that we got delivered from, but we have freedom, and then we go into the occasion of the flesh. So, you're hearing correctly. He has called us into liberty. Regardless of the statement, as this sentence continues, we read, and I quote directly, only use not liberty, which means freedom, for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. Verse 13, we are advised to not use the liberty given to us as a gift for an occasion to the flesh, because, as 14 explains, that the law, meaning law of perfection, is fulfilled in just the following. Are you ready to hear the perfect law? I quote directly from the verse, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And in this we understand that by hurting, lying, stealing, and such towards someone else is basically doing it to ourselves, because we cannot run from ourselves or our own guilt, if there is some at all. Some of us will not feel guilt because we don't realize we're hurting ourselves. Verse 15 to 21 are clear manifestation of the walk of the flesh, which in fact are contrary to the fruit of the Spirit. I can go on to detail if you would like, but the title of this topic is the fruit of the Spirit, not the works of the flesh. So let us complete on that, leaving it another study on a different day when we talk about the walk or the works of the flesh. I'd like to close with a brief summary by telling ourselves, let us not keep tabs of what if we manifest the fruit of the Spirit, but ask ourselves, where are our affections? Do I treat others as I would treat or see Christ? Do I stand alone for what is right, even if I have to stand alone? Do I stand for what is right, even if I have to stand alone? What does sacrifice mean? What do I hold dear in the place of Jesus? Once we see with the eyes of Jesus, you will manifest the fruit of the Spirit, not even notice. We won't even notice. I'll give you an example. There is a verse, and I should have put it here, that God said, when I was naked, you clothed me. When I did this, you did this. You gave me a place to stay. And the righteous are the ones that say, when did we do this? They were so good that they weren't even looking at themselves saying, look how good I did for you. And those are the people of God. And that's the manifestation of the fruit of the Spirit. I think it's in Revelation, but I'm not sure. Okay, so God bless you if you stayed with me this long. If I did speak too fast or choppy, forgive me. I tend to do that, and I'm trying to work on it. But I also got interrupted, and so this is a little trial for myself as well. God bless you all. We are in the last days. These things are to be manifested in our walk, not just understood with our minds. So be vigilant and wake up. Bye.